Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. Today we're going to go over the 2020 Executive Producer's Letter for DDO, which came out yesterday. If you're not aware, every year the Executive Producer, aka the person who's in charge over at Standing Stone Games for both DDO and Lotro, puts out a letter for DDO, and it details basically what the team wants to accomplish for the rest of the year. And it basically usually announces things that we have not heard before. It's usually a lot of new stuff in these letters. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go through this, and I'll give you my thoughts as we go along. This year, the letter was a lot juicier than last year. A lot of new stuff was announced, so let's talk about it. Here is what Severlin, the executive producer, had to say. We are entering a new decade with grand plans for DDO, and I'm writing today to share some of our ideas with you. The past decade plus has been an amazing adventure, and we thank you for being a part of it. We're kicking off 2020 with a bit of polish and refresh to two of DDO's most historic adventure packs, the Catacombs and Delira's Tomb. Both of these adventures will get epic versions in our next game update, which also features the previously announced Alchemist class. The Alchemist mixes and matches spells to create powerful reactions that help allies and incinerate foes. Expect update 45 to arrive in February. Okay, so this is stuff we've already known about. The new juicy stuff comes later, but we already knew about this. This is coming in the next update. Catacombs, Delira's Tomb are getting epic versions. By the way, I did a video on that and a video on a bunch of other stuff this past week. I did 4 different videos, so check out the homepage of my YouTube channel if you haven't seen those videos yet. Okay, so we know about these adventure packs. They're coming in probably like a month or less, I would say. Probably less. And the Alchemist as well is coming in update 45, which is coming really close. So we knew about this stuff. Nothing we haven't known about, but cool nonetheless. I know I'm sure there's people who are really excited for Alchemist, and definitely Delira's, and Catacombs maybe, I don't know. Okay, let's continue. So season 1 of the Hardcore League was met with enthusiasm and excitement, so we're making it a recurring event. In season 2, Mortality will be replaced by DDO's classic foe, Eritrikos, who will empower new champions with devilish powers. Expect future seasons to test your skill in how you build and play characters, in addition to new rewards. You will read more about these changes as we near future seasons. Okay, so first of all, Hardcore League, it's pretty obvious that it was going to come back. So season 2, and they've already previously announced that as well, that it will be coming back. They still haven't really given us a date on that, so we still don't know when that's going to happen. They did say there's going to be a couple thematic changes here. So Mortality, who was like the Wraith NPC on the hardcore server, is going to be replaced by Eritrikos. If you don't know who Eritrikos is, he is the main boss in the Shroud, essentially. He's probably the most famous, or the most well-known raid boss, I would say, in DDO. The Shroud probably being, I would say, DDO's most famous raid historically, if I had to put one down. But they said the champions are going to be special, so I assume that means champions are going to have different abilities than we see on the regular servers. And also they said they're going to add new rewards. Not surprising. So last time there were a handful of cosmetics for reaching things like level 20, reaching a certain number of Reaper XP. So I'm sure they're going to switch that up. That's something they really had to do, because if they didn't change the rewards, I think the incentive for people to play would be a lot lower. Yeah, that's not too surprising. And I know Hardcore League, from what I can tell, they did really well with it, so financially. So I'm not surprised to see it coming back. This is probably going to be a regular thing. Maybe we'll get a season or 2 a year of Hardcore League. Wouldn't surprise me at all going forward. Okay, let's continue. 2020 will also bring a long-standing community request to the game, a 64-bit client. The 64-bit client can improve the overall performance of the game for many, and we look forward to its release later this year. We also have user interface improvements planned for the shared account bank to make it easier to store, sort, and access the items you've collected. Other quality of life improvements are in the planning stages as well, and we'll talk more about it later this year. Okay, the 64-bit client is a really big deal for Mac users. The problem right now with anyone who wants to play DDO on Mac is that the latest version of their operating system is not able to support 32-bit games, which DDO is one of them, or 32-bit applications. So if you are on a Mac right now and you've upgraded your operating software to the newest version, you can't play DDO at all. So 64-bit client's really needed for that reason. Also, a 64-bit client can help basically improve performance for newer computers. Probably won't help you on an old computer, but it does. It basically, I'm not a super tech person, but the way I understand it is basically more RAM can be used, I believe. More abilities of your PC, more power of your PC can be utilized to run the application. So maybe we'll see some performance improvements and things like that with the 64-bit version of DDO. We'll just have to wait and see. They also mentioned the improvements to the shared bank. So that has to do with things such as sorting and searching. Apparently on Lamania, I didn't get to see it, but I'll probably look when it comes back up. But apparently it's a lot easier to go through things like your shared account bank and just search it and filter it by like item. I think you can sort it by level, item level, things like that. So it's going to be easier to go through at least some of our inventory. And they mentioned that other quality of life improvements are in the planning stages, so maybe we'll see even more of that going forward, maybe more things for inventory. I would love to see something like an account-wide inventory search or some kind of tracker. I don't know if that's possible for them, but that would be neat. Okay, let's continue. Spring will bring a new adventure pack set in Stormreach, where the gatekeepers need your help to determine the fate of some missing acolytes in the Cerulean Hills and investigate the sudden appearance of a strange hut in the harbor. In the summer, we're considering a new adventure pack in addition to some legendary versions of well-known raids, but we want to keep that unaccounted for now. Okay, so nothing too unexpected here. This has not been announced, so there's going to be a new adventure pack. Not surprising. They usually do a new adventure pack once every quarter or so. Not every update has new content, but typically like at least 3 of the quarters of the year they have a new adventure pack. So that's cool. That's nice. It's always nice to get new content. And they also mentioned that they might do some legendary versions of well-known raids. So that would be really, really cool because there's a lot of raids like that really just aren't run because they aren't challenging at cap and all the gear is outdated. I'm thinking of things like Demon Queen and Chronoscope, things that, are like lower epic level raids that aren't, that don't really go up to level 30. So things like that, and if there's more things that could kind of bring up to level 30, really I wish all raids had a level 30 version. So I hope that happens. That would be wonderful, especially if they do new gear, which I'm assuming. They wouldn't bring it up to legendary and not do new gear. I could not see them doing that. So I'm sure we'll get new gear or revamped versions of gear for whatever raids they choose, which they haven't mentioned that, but I'm very excited for that. That's awesome. Raiding is personally my favorite thing to do in DDO. So that's awesome. Okay. Now, probably the biggest announcement is in the next paragraph. Definitely the biggest announcement is in the next paragraph. As we gaze further into the second half of the year, we are thrilled to share news about our next expansion, which will see players travel into the mythical plane of the Feywild. Joining characters on their trip will be our next new player character race, the Shifter, capable of temporarily embracing their bestial aspects to rend enemies and survive. Another thing we can say today about our upcoming Feywild expansion is that you will need to learn new, powerful ways to overcome challenge. In doing so, will gain you the experience necessary to push past level 30 for the first time in DDO history. Okay, so a couple of huge announcements there. Really, all 3 of them are huge. But so there's going to be another expansion. Not too surprising. I'm kind of surprised that it's coming so soon because I'm assuming when they mentioned at the beginning of this paragraph, as we gaze further into the second half of the year. So I'm assuming that means the expansion is coming sometime at the later part of 2020, which we just had Sharn come out at the kind of midpoint of 2019 or so. I think it came out, April, May 2019. So that's kind of fast for another expansion, honestly, about a year and a half if they, say it comes out like holiday 2020. Okay, the Shifter. Now, they've talked about shapeshifters for a long time. Really, it's kind of something that not just the community, but I've seen developers say like it's something they want to do for a long time, but they've never done it. Kind of like say something like GNOME was for a long time, where the community and the developers kind of went back and forth about it, but they never did it for a long time. And finally, they came out and have done shifters. So that'll be interesting since they can shapeshift. How that's going to work in the game, I have no idea how that will be really interesting. How that goes, but new races are always cool, so that's awesome. Okay, now the thing that's not so awesome. I'm okay. At the end here, they said they're going to we're going to push past level 30 for the first time in DDO history. So that means sounds like they're going to raise the level cap past 30, which I think that's a really bad idea. I hope they reconsider that. The population is way too spread out to support the levels being spread out more and people being divided up more in the game. I don't like that. I really hope they reconsider that. I think there's a lot of ways they can push progression without increasing the level cap and spreading people out more. So I hope they reconsider. One thing they did mention is that they want to keep in mind that they didn't mention that this in this letter, but they don't plan to, or they don't want to make the requirements for Epic TRing any longer. So I don't know what they're going to call it. I mean, maybe there's going to be a new form of reincarnation or something past level 30 that resets you back to 30. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, I guess they're going to go another 5 levels, maybe 10. I hope not. And I hope they reconsider that, but it looks like that's something they want to do. So be ready for that. Okay, in the last paragraph, I think that's about it. We have other surprises in store for 2020 as well, but the above is a high-level roadmap of our current schedule. As always, the roadmap can change, and we will endeavor to let you know how things are going as plans become realities. We are very thankful for your support of this game for more than a decade, and we are thrilled to embark on a new decade of adventure with you. Okay, so one thing that they didn't mention that some players that some players are kind of sad is that they didn't mention Isle of Dread. So that's something that they initially talked about it actually with me when I interviewed Severlin at Gen Con 2018. So this was about a year and a half ago now, and I think it sounds like something they want to do, but they apparently have put it to the side for now. And I'm wondering if it's a thing where when I was talking to Severlin, if it's something where he just kind of mentioned it and it was kind of in the back of his head, and then he later regretted mentioning it. I don't know if it was a mistake when he mentioned it to me initially in that interview or what, or maybe it was something the team really wanted to do. I mean, we did see things like certain dinosaurs appear in Sharn, so it sounds like they were possibly working on some dinosaur assets and things in the background and then shifted gears. So I don't know. That's probably more what it was, that they they've done some work on it, which obviously we got some dinosaurs, so it sounds like it. And then they, for whatever reason, decided to go with Feywild instead. Who knows why? I mean, maybe it's a financial thing. Maybe it's what they could get. There are certain licenses they couldn't get. Who knows? You can speculate. I don't know. But in any case, they've said that they're going to put Isle of Dread on the back burner for now. So we may get Isle of Dread at some point in the future, or DDO may never get Isle of Dread. Who knows? We don't know. So guys, yeah, that's going to be kind of it for my thoughts on the letter. Let me know what you think below. Would be interested in reading that. Overall, a lot of cool stuff. One bad thing with the level cap increase, I hope they reconsider, but overall a lot of cool stuff. So should be a good year for DDO, and things like this show you that DDO is not going anywhere anytime soon. It's a game that is still getting so much development, still getting expansions, so it's probably doing fine financially and will probably continue for many years to come. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time. Have a good one and take care.